And the Karnataka government is framing rules that would mandate multinational corporations to display details of Kannadigas employed by them. The Kannada and Culture Minister, Shivraj Tangadgi, has said that discussions were underway in this regard and that rules are being framed. He's added that there are secretaries from various departments and MLAs who've given suggestions. The Congress government in the state has also warned of cancellation of licenses in case of failure to comply with this new directive once it's implemented. But the proposal has sparked a massive debate, with the BJP calling it yet another political drama by the Congress government. Here's how the political face-off has played out.
It will be mandatory for all MNCs to display how many Kannadigas have been employed.
Yes, 101% ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆದೊಳಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಬೋರ್ಡನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಅದು ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳಾಗಿದೆ. ನೇಮ ಮಾಡೋ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಾಗ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸಮಿತಿ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಸಮಿತಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ನಾನೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾನೇ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು.
Whatever the government makes a statement, it will be just on paper. When it comes to the implementation, no government, no officers, they take interest. They just don't take interest. They just use all these things to harass the companies, not even a little bit of concern for the people of the Karnataka. It has become more of a political drama. This is nothing a political drama for the political consumption.
Industry experts, meanwhile, have questioned the government's proposal, saying that it should instead focus on higher education and skill development of youth so that they are employment ready based on merit.
You want such a rule like this just to demonstrate that you're standing up for local Kannadigas is very wrong. This is wrong, and it will hurt the interests of Kannadigas. This government has reduced the higher education budget for last year and this year. Invest more money in higher education. Put more money into skill development so more people get skills, because the industry does not discriminate.
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
All right, let me take this across to our guest. Joining us is Anand Gurmurthy, spokesperson of the BJP. Also with us is GB Patil, Lingayat leader. I'm told we also have with us Advocate Umer Junaidi at the moment. Let me start with you first, GB Patil. What are we talking about when you bring in such a rule? What about merit? What about attracting the best talent? What about the competitiveness of these companies? Sure, I mean, you can give suggestions, companies can be mandated, but here you're bringing in penalty provisions. Now, that's where things become extremely problematic.
Voice is not clear, but still, I guess I'm guessing your question. You are asking whether this government order is proper or not. Am I right?
Yes, because there are issues related to merit, related to talent, related to technology. There are multiple questions of policy continuity that actually come out of this decision.
In fact, probably when they are giving the license to the organizations, they must have laid some restrictions. So the local employment should be given to the localites as per the government clarifications. Probably that they must be implementing now, because they are not able to understand what is the total number of employees are there in the particular organization and all that. If they are asking for their own safety as well as for their statistics, they need all these things. Probably that may be the one of the reasons.
No, sir, they are saying that they will cancel their license. They are saying that there have to be, provisions that are put in place where they display the total number of Kannadigas, and they've decided they're just going to implement the rules. Let me bring in Priya Chetty Rajagop on that. Priya Chetty Rajagop, there are many who are asking that, fine, it is of course important to protect the interests of the locals in any state. But this is going to set a very dangerous precedent if every state of the country starts doing this.
I'm sorry,
I agree with you. I think it's a very laudable thing that there's an attempt to promote both the language and the participation of local Kannadigas in corporations, whether it's multinational, public sector, government, or whatever. But this statement has been a little surprising because two things. One is the fact that it has been sort of suddenly initiated in this manner. And the second thing is that there is a penalty involved in that. I hark you back to the fact that who really is a Kannadiga today? I mean, what are the normal that we use to define who a Kannadiga is. Is it domicile? Is it purchase of land? Is it language? Is it ethnic orientation, where we really come from, what language we speak? I think many of us qualify as Kannadigas, though we may not actually have been born here. So this is going to be a gray area and create, I think, far more of a divide than it would seek to sort of unify or create more value. This is my humble opinion. I appreciate the intention of saying, please be more affirmative in the hiring of local Kannadigas. But the second thing is the penalty is certainly not something which is appreciable. And the third thing is that, is it something that you can really quantify?
Right.
And it might bring you to a very, very strong point of who is a Kannadiga. Our city and our essential, if you look at the entire focus, and I've been in several seminars, and you look at entrepreneurship as well, where you can see the whole unicorn spirit, the kind of busy pulse of Bangalore relies on its very cosmopolitan nature. So we have people from everywhere, as much as our Kannadigas are going everywhere in the world. So we really shouldn't appreciate the sentiment, but I think in terms of implementation and in terms of spirit, we may lose more than we can gain.
Okay, I think that's a very, very well-reasoned argument that you've put forth. And I want to bring in fact, the spokesperson, Umer Junaidi, in fact, political analyst Umer Junaidi on that. Because Umer Junaidi, just as Karnataka produces global citizens, there are citizens who come to Karnataka and to Bengaluru. It's a melting pot of cultures. It's its cosmopolitan culture that's kept the city alive in many ways and has contributed to the business environment and otherwise in the city. And I think that's a very, very fair point. If you don't even get into the legality, because such decisions have been struck down by high courts many a time in different states across the country. And you're a practicing advocate, you would know that.
Yeah, Madhav, definitely every citizen of the country has a right to get the justice and can seek justice in the courts. But what the Karnataka government has decided, what the Karnataka government is trying to do is nothing but the promotion of the Kannada language as well as the welfare of the Kannadigas. So what's wrong in it when the government is asking the MNCs to give the jobs to the localites to the Kannadigas? This has been seen in several states, in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra. Every state.
Let me clarify right here. Nothing wrong in the government promoting its own citizens. As in fact the previous panelist said, there's nothing wrong in affirmative action. The problem is when you ask companies to come out and display the total number of Kannadigas that they have employed, that A, could be misused by, self-styled activists, as we've seen in December when the signboard issue was going on, as a dog whistle. And B, why introduce penal provisions? Affirmative action is a positive thing. Don't make the companies pay for what might be a genuine requirement. There's technology changing, there are manpower requirements, there are a whole host of issues today.
Definitely, Madhav, there are two sides of the coin, and yes, there are the disadvantages as well. And I hope the government of Karnataka will be taking care on the issues which might be, raised after this. Things get implemented, and I think the government of Karnataka may be coming up with the plans and the legal provisions to stop these activities. Yes, we have seen the protest of the signages in the recent days has been turned into violence. Yes, definitely there is a negative impact on the society as well. But the major aspect is to look for the jobs to the Kannadigas, to promote the language, to promote the culture. And if any step taken in to take care of the culture, history, and the welfare of the people, I don't think so. There shouldn't be. There should be an argument on this.
Yeah, but then it's a little more complicated than that. But let me bring in Anand Gurmurthy, who's a spokesperson of the BJP. Anand Gurmurthy, today we saw Mr. Ashwath Narayan say, and he's questioning the implementation. He's questioning whether this will actually benefit the people of Karnataka or not. But he's not questioning the scheme in itself. There many would say that political parties themselves are perhaps, playing a game of competitive populism.
No, nothing like that. No game here. And BJP is very clear. See, we have to support the demographic population, which is local. That is, as Chetty Madam told, it's very important that those who are there, okay, it's not just one language or anything, because we have Tulu population, we have Konkani population, we have so many Tamil and Telugu people, Hindi people, everybody here. Okay, so demographically, it has to be supported. They are local people. They cannot migrate suddenly. So it is very important that anything is done, it's done in a proper way. That's what Mr. Ashwath Narayan meant. Okay, and that's what BJP means. For example, I will give you one very beautiful example. During Corona period, many banks were merged just before the Corona period, and they were made into single banks. 3 to 4 national banks were merged and made into single banks. What happened was many branches were merged and many people, non-Kannadigas people were managers, put as managers, transfers happened all around the country. So because of this, especially in Karnataka, we saw a lot of problem in rural areas during COVID period and post that for 2 years when the local managers could not implement many of the central schemes that were doled on through the banks because they could not speak the local language, and there were a lot of complaints. Now, that time it was
how
a
are you
BJP
comparing
government. What
public
we did
sector
was,
banks with private corporations and MNCs?
I'll just come to that point. I'll just come to that point in 10 seconds, okay? So what we did was, we took it in a proper positive way, ensured that even that Kannada language was included in banking exams, and ensured that a long-term solution happened. And also transfers were made to ensure that at least 1 in 10-kilometer bank bank manager would be a Kannadiga, so that some of the things would be addressed. So this way, things were done. Like this, similarly, things have to be done for, inclusiveness of local people. Especially, there are certain things that are happening. For example, in the hotel industry in Karnataka, especially in Bengaluru, lot of people from other states are brought in for working, especially in the age group of 18 to 25. Young youths are brought in to work in hotel industry. They are non-local people. They are given very unhygienic places to live. Okay, very unhygienic places. They cannot even sleep there. In fact, they work in double shifts, and the same bed is used by many people. It's very unhygienic. It is creating a lot of problems in the society also.
So these kind of problems need to be addressed. And because of the unhygienic conditions, you have ensured that only locals should be given so that they can live in hygienic conditions.
Please,
what is the logic, sir?
This is what the exact position of BJP is. They are not on to the agenda, but they want to just target Congress and just they want to oppose Congress.
Come on,
they don't have any agenda to work on and to talk.
Okay, Umar. Yeah. Let him make his point. I've asked him a question. Yeah.
Okay, see, basically, you know what? The local population is not going into such jobs in many places because of the unhygienic conditions that are being maintained. All this has to be addressed. Instead of that, Congress is making a political point, trying to divide the population and trying to bring in some rules which will not only hurt the businesses, but also hurt the local Kannadiga population. See, This is what they are trying to do all together, and they are not going to do any good to anybody.
How can it be politics of division?
Yes, that's what Congress is doing, Mr. Junaid. I think you're not understanding that.
Oh, how the welfare of the Kannadigas, trying and working for the welfare of Kannadigas is a divisive politics. I can't understand it.
Trying and working for the Kannadigas means they should ensure proper steps for the implementation. Instead of that, somebody comes out of the assembly. Please hear me out.
All right. Completely out of time, gentlemen, on this, and ladies. Priya Chetty Rajagop, I'd like to thank you for joining us. Anand Gurmurthy, Umer Junaidi, and GB Patil. Clearly, we haven't heard the last word yet, but when it comes to identity politics, many a state that have perhaps set a bad example, and once again, perhaps a controversial decision, certainly by the Karnataka government. Of course, the local sentiments have to be respected. There's no two ways about that. But does that mean that the industry and corporate should be penalized for that? That's a question, certainly. That's a big talking point of the day coming out of Bengaluru. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.